Alright guys, so today's video we're going to take a break from the normal audio products that I cover. This is just a very interesting piece of tech that I want to talk about. This isn't like a review, this isn't going into like all the deep specs on this device. This is me just talking about a display or tablet or monitor, whatever you want to call it, that I have added to the office. Now, the device I'm talking about is the ArmorBoard A1. It's basically a 55-inch, what they call a smart display. It is 4K UHD, but it's a little bit more than just a display. It also has 20 points of touch, which makes it a oversized tablet. It also has a smart board, which you see in a lot of classrooms. You see it in conference rooms. So I can just go up there and draw on it. I mean, it even comes with 2 styluses. And for a lot of you that don't know what I do outside of the channel, I also do a lot of digital design. So having a display that I can just go and sketch ideas on, and it also has different features in here that makes it where I can just scan it with a QR code so it sends it straight to my phone. And I can send it straight out to a client or, the people that I work for so that they can see these designs. And it just comes in really handy to have it all built in on the display, because the display also has Android 11.0 in it. So I have access to the Google Play Store, which already comes on it, which basically means I have access to every app that's on the Play Store that I can use on an oversized 55-inch tablet. Now, this is not a cheap display. It does come in where it says it retails for $2,700, but on their site, you can actually get it right now for $16.99. Again, it is not cheap, but if you're in the education system, or if you're, a business looking for a display that you can use in a conference room, you can write on, and it have this smart board type of functionality or whiteboard, you'll know that the price is actually in line with all of the other options out there, because my wife actually works in the education system, and a display like this, they normally spend $2,500 or more for. And she also said that the display is normally not crisp. It just kind of has more of a dated, pixelated look. That is not the case with this monitor. Again, it is a 4K display. It has a 60 hertz refresh rate. Everything is super smooth on here. Now, it is kind of a step back when it comes to the refresh rate from what I'm coming from. Now, I was using a 43-inch LG TV. That was a 4K TV that had a 120 hertz refresh rate. So I did take a step back there. But what I got into was something that I could use as a TV, as a tablet, as smart board or whiteboard. You have so many different things that you can do on this device. It's kind of endless. And I think also having the Play Store makes it endless, but I plug it straight into my laptop, which is basically my desktop setup. I like having a very portable setup, which also means I can move my desk away from the board if I need to go up and really write on it for a long period of time. You could also get a mount that kind of brings it down where you can draw on it that way, but the display actually comes with its own mount already on it out of the box. I didn't have to add one. I didn't have to put it on myself. I just had to put the actual frame up on the wall and just hang the display, and I was good to go. It was that simple. There's also a lot of other things they've included in the box. Like I said, you do get 2 styluses or stylus. I don't really know how to say that. You also get what they call a DI link, which has a USB-C on one end. It also comes with a USB-A. But you can plug it into anything, like a laptop across the room, and it will just wirelessly transmit whatever's on that screen over to the display itself. Now, you'll know if you're doing conferences or if you're in a classroom, that definitely comes in handy, because you don't want to have wires going across the room, and it just makes things look extra neat. And then you really don't have to have a lot of extra wires plugged into it, because everything's built into that display. But speaking of wires, there's basically any kind of input you could possibly think of on this display. On the back, it has 2 HDMI inputs, a single USB 2.0 input, 2 USB 3.0. It also has what they call a touch input, which I believe, I haven't used this, but it allows you to plug this into a laptop and use this display using the touch feature that you would use on your computer. You could basically turn any computer or phone into a touchscreen by having that link used right up on this display. Again, I haven't used it. There's going to be a lot of things that this display does that I will likely never utilize. But some other inputs is it has an RJ45 Ethernet port, but it also has an Ethernet output. So if you want to plug an Ethernet cable into the display, but you also need to run an Ethernet cable into your PC so that you have a wired connection, you can do all that from the device itself. And some other outputs that it has an optical output, which is usually my preferred method when it comes to sending audio from one device to some speakers. Now the front also has inputs. It has two more USB 3.0 inputs. It also has a USB-C port, which allows you to send a video signal, your audio signal, and it can charge your phone from the display. So for me using this at my desktop, I can just plug my phone into that USB-C port and my phone will charge from the monitor. And then also it has another HDMI input and another one of those touch inputs. So any possible way you could think to plug in anything into a monitor or a TV or whatever, all of it's built in. And on top of that, you can display up to 9 different things on this display at a time. So if you do have a gaming system, or you have different people casting to the monitor, or you have a laptop, but you also have your desktop plugged in, I mean, you can have a lot of things running at once. And because it's a huge 55-inch display, having it broken up into 9 different sections, it doesn't look so small that you can't tell what's in each square. As far as some of the specs on here, it is a 3840 by 2160 60 hertz display. Like I said, it is a 4K monitor. It has 4 gigs of RAM built in with 32 gigabytes of storage. Now, this is kind of on the lower end. If this was something that was just in a standalone tablet, this is not, anything special when it comes to specs, except for that 4K display. But it also has Wi-Fi 6, so if you don't want to use the Ethernet port, which I prefer to use, it does have Wi-Fi 6, which is super solid. And it has a Cortex A55 processor, which again, isn't anything super fast, but on a display like this, for what you're going to use it for, which again, I mainly use it for sketching, and utilizing some different apps. But if you're a teacher or somebody that's in a business needing it for a conference room, it's going to check off a lot more boxes than what I probably know this thing can do. And it's different having something that's not just a TV or a normal PC monitor. It is definitely a lot more than that. And I've never actually used or seen a 55-inch Android tablet, which is essentially what this is. And it's just kind of cool to have all of that tech right there in front of you. I'm one that spends a lot of time at my desk. That's why I feel like the investment for something like this was worth it. I mean, it's definitely not going to be worth it for everybody. And I do find it to be kind of hard to use in a lot of situations at home. I think this is, again, for businesses, but if you're somebody that spends a lot of time in your office, you may see where this would benefit you, and that's the category that I fall into. I don't see anybody using this as their main TV, and I don't see somebody using it as a normal PC monitor if you're not going to utilize the touch function and the Android functions that it has. So yeah, it's kind of limited, and this is a niche market that this would be for, and I think it's more for professional use. But I found a way to use this as like my everyday everything. It's been awesome to have. It checked off all the boxes for me. And again, I just wanted to take the time to do a video that's a little bit different for the channel, but just talk about something that I have really enjoyed using. This isn't sponsored in any way. This is just a device that I've enjoyed. And again, I just wanted to use the channel to talk about a piece of tech that maybe a lot of people don't think about would be useful in like their day-to-day life. But guys, that wraps up my video on the ArmorBoard A1 55-inch 4K smartboard display. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Thank you so much for checking out all the other videos. And as always, make sure to stay tuned for more.